I don't know why. Twitch says it's offline. Oh, Twitch is online. Alright, I give up on YouTube again. Hey! How long was that? Oh, 6 minutes. 6 minutes of trying to get a thing to start. Awesome. Oh, it is on YouTube now? Awesome. Alright, it's just not showing up on the thing. But fixed. I guess I just have to disconnect and reconnect to YouTube every time. That's fun and convenient. Anyway, I suddenly forget all the things I was gonna say. I was pretty sure I was gonna start doing some sort of random song that Ripley was gonna do, I believe, and now I don't remember. I don't remember anything at all. I could maybe start with a weird little thug. Do you want me to start with my theme song? That's all about me being the star. Hey, if you could read my mind, maybe you could also read my mug. This stuff is unacceptable, just like a wishing mug. And that rhyme is the same word as the same word before, and something would be true. No, no, that's not at all what I was thinking about. Just like a paperback novel, that's all about me. And then also an old time movie about me in a wishing well. And if you don't wish me well, well then you can go to hell. Ripley, hey Sweetest Angel, let's roll the intro and start this thing, please, and/or thank you. Clapter? Ah, the clapter of big people. Hey! And here we go again. I've already got my drawing glove on. My arm feels fine. And everything's great. Everything's great. My pen, remember last week? Should we start right away and talk about the history of the pen or some history of Canada that I'm also animating while it's also being poured onto me through the internet while people scream about the injustices and demanding torture for statues and white people that perpetrated it. Let's do that one later or next, and let's start with Pen Talk. Today on Pen Talk, we're gonna do a part 2 from last week. What happened last week? Let me do a recap here. Last week on Mr. Cartoons, your pen didn't work, and it's an expensive pen system, and you didn't know what to do, so you restarted it 1,000 times and reinstalled it 1,000 times. And by the end of the night, you were like, well, I guess this works. I'm going to bed. And then the next day at work, you were like, seems to be working mildly okay. And then somewhere in the afternoon, it stopped again. So the problem had not fixed itself. It was persisting, but somehow it just didn't happen. And that's what happened last week. I'm Mr. Cartoons. This is Milo. Ripley's over there working the boards. There's a host of other imaginary characters floating around. And then there's this camera. Hi, Pat. So yeah, I did all the things. I watched all the videos. I tried everything to make my pen and tablet work. The deeper I get into it, the more I realized, the more quickly I realized that the problem was probably physical and not downloadable or firmware updatable. And one of several videos were like, all right, you just gently take it apart like this. So I gently took it apart like that. Actually, first I was like, I'm not taking this apart. That's only going to make it worse. There's no way I can make it better. I'm not good at fixing things in the physical world. And he was like, yep, this is what it looks like. You take it out. There's like a circuit board. And there's like 2 wires that coil around the pen nib in here. And then they come off. 2 wires are soldered to the what did I just call it? Circuit board, and usually one of those comes loose. They're not soldered on very well, and it's a very common thing. And I don't throw my pen around. I feel like I'm pretty gentle with it, even when I threatened to bite it into pieces last week, which I did send a link to the Huion, that's what this is, right? To the Huion tablet company. Hey, I don't know what's going on. I tried all of these things, and I just don't know. What else are we gonna do? Here's a link to me getting angry on a live stream, and threatening to bite your pen in half. So before they could get back to me, I ended up watching all these videos. So it was like, well, it looks simple enough. So either way, I'm going to either order a new pen right now, or I'm going to fix this. Should I order a pen and then try and fix it? Because odds are I'm not going to fix it. So I should technically just, this pen is now a write-off. And the more I thought that, I'm just like, well, this pen is dead to me now. I can't make it worse, and I'm just going to order a new one anyway. Thankfully, they seem to be like $50 instead of $200 like they used to be in the old days. I'm pretty sure I was probably looking at American prices, so they're probably still like $80 to $100, but still a little better than I'd expected. So I'm like, I'm just going to order a new one. But first, I got to try and install my old tablet, which isn't fancy with a drawing screen like this one, and see if it still works. Because that one also had some issues, i.e., the cord that connected it up to the computer was just not a good connection. So that I would had a pile of tape over it, making sure like I can't move anything or else it will stop working. But it at least was less intermittent and less dead than this pen had become at this point in time. And I'm like, well, all right, that works. I'll deal with the cable for as long as I need to because I have to get back to work. But dare I open this thing up and see if the wire is the problem and then figure out a way to deal with that? So I opened it up, and sure enough, one of the wires was just fully hanging off, and I'm like, all right, so I gotta solder this back on. Now, one of the videos I watched, the guy was like, my soldering iron's in another country right now, so I don't even have that. So here's a very dangerous thing that I don't recommend. He's like, get a screwdriver, get your favorite scented candle or decorative candle, I think he called it, and heat that up in like the bluest part of the flame for a while, and then just tap the solder and dip it back in, and everything will be fine. I'm just like, tempting, but I don't want to do the dangerous thing because I already think that using a soldering iron is a dangerous thing. They're already terrifying. It's just a super hot little metal spike with a handle that's just it's all awkwardly weighted. They're stupid. They're just a stupid invention. So went to Canadian Tire and got a $20 soldering iron instead of a $100 pen, or instead of a $100 soldering iron, and got my art cutting board out, all the pieces laid out, sent a picture to Pat to be like, this is what I'm doing now. And then I tried to solder it, and like the first 4 times I'm just like, how is soldering even done? How is this possible? I clearly need at least 3 more hands, and there's no room for them in this tiny little area, so I don't know. So it's just kind of like trying to hold the wire, tiny little bit of wire in place, and solder it in the right place, and hold some fresh solder on there to get it in place. And there's just no room. There's just no room to do anything. And we're gonna draw this again. But I'll still use the old one as reference, because I'm not crazy. So eventually, I put way too much solder on there, and I'm like, well, it's either worse or better now. Let's put it back together, which it barely does now because there's too much solder in there, and reinstalled the tablet to the computer, and that didn't quite work right away because the old tablet was already installed, so forgot that I have to wipe everything out first. And anyway, as you can tell, possibly, it works again. It works again. And it was, yeah, surprisingly easy. other than the fact that I had to leave the house like twice to get a soldering iron. Before that, I went to get a new cord for my other tablet, which didn't work anyway, so whatever. Um, I wish I could say I was just like, woo, I'm so proud of myself. I did something. I did something in the real world with a soldering iron, no less. Like, wow, I am amazing. But now I gotta finish my work for the day, so I won't be doing my evening work, which is finishing a film about residential schools. I gotta finish my day job work until late into the evening, which I did, and I feel like I haven't slept in weeks. I also feel like I've had the greatest sleeps I've ever had in weeks because I'm going to sleep beyond exhausted and having a full night's sleep. So that's great, but I'm also just so exhausted. I'm just like, oh God, I was really planning that on Sunday I would wake up, not have to do anything, put on a movie and go to sleep. Wake up, hey, let's watch another movie and go to sleep. And repeat that through the day. Perhaps go and get a shelf for my kitchen and put that up because that's my plan. Is once I actually finish this thing, I'm going to reward myself with replacing this shelf in the kitchen that I hate. And Sunday came along, and I still wasn't done. I was still just coloring because of the sketchiness of it. I can't just run through and just click, fill in the colors. I have to like color it like an old-timey coloring book. And that wreaks havoc on the old wrists and arm and fingers and shoulders. But regardless, technically, all of the animation, the artwork, the backgrounds, that film is done now. There is still 100 things. I was just finishing off a few things, so I still have some fixes and some texture issues, and just a few things to finish off. But beyond that, it is a film, and or at least it's all animated. Most of pretty much all the effects are in there. There's not really missing anything. Um, but of course, just like misjudging things. Oops, that. But that leads us to the history of our country. Yeah. So if you happen to be on the internet, which I don't see how you're not, at one of the Vancouver, or did I say Vancouver, the British Columbia residential schools, very recently, they what are they doing? They found a mass grave of Native children, and it's a pretty big deal, as it should be. The thing that really bakes my noodles about it, and yeah, I just said bakes my noodles. Have you ever said that in your whole life? No, I haven't. I don't know why it's popped into my head now. But the thing that makes me crazy about it, even as much, if not more so, than the fact that it happened, is the fact that so many people are like, "Oh, can you like what? Can you believe this?" Like, yeah. I mean, if you didn't know about residential schools, then understandable. Why would you know about any of this stuff? And if you don't know about residential schools, um, I know we talked about it before because I mentioned that's what the film I'm working on is about. But not so long ago, um, the government had a super clever plan where they would take children from native families, from indigenous families, and put them in these residential schools for the purposes of basically teaching them, abusing them into not being native anymore. into just like turning them white, I guess, slash destroying them enough that they just kind of give up on life is the real reason, is just, destroying them. Um, and that was just like, a good old fashioned government sanctioned hate crime. And it only stands to reason that, especially in old timey times and even in semi recent times, when it comes to horrific atrocities, it's pretty safe to assume that you know there's going to be bodies. Like, there's going to be bodies. And, the fact that people are so like, oh, why can't the natives work it down? The whole fishery thing before, like, how dare they be different than us? Like, um, because they're the same as they've been, and then you slash we came over and decided they're different, and then tried to destroy that. And that's not cool. Super not cool. And when people try to destroy other people, usually atrocities happen. Um, so the crazy thing, anyway, is that, well, the crazy thing. So it's, people are looking for. They want to, like, hey, what about all these other places? Like, should we start searching them to see if there's any, miscellaneous, unmarked piles of dead people? And yes is the answer. And yes, like, you already know you're going to find them. Like, there's just a fact. Like the real scariest thing is, like I said, it wasn't that long ago. Like, I forget, the last one closed like within the last, like 30-40 years or something like that. Um, so my good friend Moxie Fox wrote this story quite a while ago, um, because she herself didn't even realize just how horrific it was. And, and people in her family went to the residential schools, and they also didn't even seem to know just how horrific it was. Like, some of them um, were definitely like their life is, just permanent PTSD, permanent just issues, like issues upon issues that are just beyond impossible to deal with. And others that, were quote unquote lucky, and to them it was like, oh, it was like a summer school, it was some kind of weird punishment because I wasn't good enough at school. And they, some cases, they didn't even realize how much more horrific it was for other people, like in their own family, in their own community. And it's forever burned into my mind of Moxie Fox's uncle just explaining, like literally just like, oh, I never understood what the deal was. They got to go on this thing, and I never got to go, and I never quite understood what it was, and nobody really talked about it. But it was like, oh, it turns out it was horrific, and it's just like, you're you're not that much older than me. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is bananas. Like, this has been like, this happened right here and just everywhere across the whole country. Like, how is this not just on the news every day? And there's this whole documentary about like how the kids wouldn't really get fed well, and the nuns, in one particular story slash documentary, the nuns would make delicious muffins. Mmm. We're gonna make some muffins. I'm making muffins. Can you smell the muffins? Of course you can. If somebody's making baked goods, the smell is gonna travel across. And of course, small children are gonna be like, oh wow, muffins. I'm excited and happy. Something good's gonna happen. And then the nuns would just eat the muffins themselves, and they would give that little muffin cup wrapper to the kids. They're like, there you go. Use your little teeth to scrape off whatever muffinness might be still left on this little wrapping, and that's what you get. Okay, try not to grow up and resent white people. Shouldn't be possible, but because of, the structures of society, you still have to, make white people happy. And That's right, Space Goonie. Pure evil from top to bottom. So while all this is going on, the internet and the news is flying by like mass grave this, mass grave that. These poor 200 and some children, and how has this gone on? Like there needs to be blah blah blah. Like somebody do something, and yeah, somebody should have done something a long time ago. And the fact that people are still like, well, you got to get over these things. Like, no, you don't. You don't really. And if you could, that would be amazing. But when push comes to shove, white people, for some reason, think, well, it's my job to push and shove. This is a time when people should be fighting back, and I shouldn't be doing anything. But instead, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna set your boats on fire. That does that seem reasonable? Like, no, no. How in a million years does that seem reasonable? And it's just not, and it's just not. And anyway, while all this stuff is going on, I'm sitting here literally animating a mass grave. Not to give away anything from Huxley Fox's short film, but yeah, there's a field, and I didn't expect it. Like it's in the script and it's in the storyboards, and I'm looking at it and just like, yep, I gotta draw a bunch of child skeletons, put them under the ground, and not be super sad about it. Did I mention I started doing online therapy when I started working on this film? Oh, it's funny because it's painful. Um, so so yeah, like stuff is just real. That stuff is real. Um, and like I said, it's pretty much done now. Like I'm trying desperately to just finish it and do a good job. And ever since she was like, I'm gonna make this, and if you can get time to work on it, was like, well, yeah, well, yeah. Like again, Uncle Russell's voice, him just telling that story, and them just kind of sharing the stories and amongst their family about like, oh well, so and so is a mess to this degree. Like, oh yeah, like I didn't even know that was going on. Like, and so and this and that, and it's just like, and mom just had to let us go. Like, yeah, yeah, they come, and then your parents just have to let them take you away, and then you're just taken away, and some of you are brutally abused, starved, just mistreated, left, right, and center, told that you're the worst and you should be something different and you don't deserve to live, etc., etc. Just like all the things, all of the ways that people shouldn't ever treat anybody else, but it's the way I should treat Ted, right? No, no, not even adorable Ted over there. Guys, thanks. I appreciate it, but if we could leave me out of this, that would be great. Sorry, Ted. Ted's over there. Um, he's on the wall. But yeah. So that's what I've been up to outside of during the day doing my day job where I'm doing effects and alert animations and emotes. Apparently Twitch is going to be offering or is doing a trial with like some sort of animated emotes, and they didn't come to me. They didn't say, "Hey Curtis, your thing is all about animation, like of all sorts." Yeah, nope, that's not the voice. That's Ted's voice. Hey Ted, are you talking for me? Yeah, yeah, bro. I'm just talking for you. Can you remember your voice? Hey, this is my voice over here. Close enough. Anyway, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Except even stopping motion is available in this stream. Right? So many types of animation. La-ti-da. And and yeah. So they of course went to somebody with more than 2 subscribers. Oh man. If you are new, hit that follow button, and especially if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. And if you're on Twitch and you want to give me your money, then hit subscribe. That would be great. But like I said, I'm not necessarily doing this for the money. I'm doing it to eventually get free stuff that I talk about on stream. like the popular people that I follow on Instagram and whatnot. Like I mentioned last week, Donald Faison from Scrubs. Oh, his stop motion is so good. Oh, good. Oh, he just posted a new little stop motion of I'm gonna say Prowl. I don't know any of the Transformer names, but I can't remember which one it was. But just transforming from robot to car. Oh my god, it's so smooth. It's so smooth that I was so jealous. And somebody was like, "Hey, what program do you use?" And he was like, "Oh, I use Dragon Frame." I'm like, I've never heard of Dragon Frame. Maybe I should check it out instead of using this random free slash $4 app that I use do my stopping motions, and it's like a $300 program. I'm like, well, of course you use a $300 program. You were on Scrubs. Excuse me. You're in movies and you've hosted game shows and you probably do other things. Excuse me. Um. So So anyway, they went to some other guy who's like, got like 1 million followers, I'm sure, and said, "Hey, do you want to test out? I probably shouldn't talk about any of this." You know that this channel is like also, rebroadcast on your own work channel. Yeah. I know that. Thankfully, nobody watches, so I probably won't get in trouble. But anyway, there are cheer emotes. Like I've done animated emotes before. But yeah, so somebody's gonna test out some animated emotes, and I'm gonna be the one that has already done them last week. And probably just broke a lot of rules. That's fine. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. If you could edit out as I say things, that would be amazing. But you don't. You don't bleep things. I don't even know what you do over there aside from switching cameras. Meow, 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 meow. I mean, yes, you're being the sweetest angel, and that's really all I can ask. That's all I can really ask. Um, those are not the things that I wanted to talk about. But these are the Daves. No, I know. These are the Daves I know. I'm not redrawing this. I'm just cleaning it up. I don't know why. Didn't even switch over to the drawing camera. A fun thing. Let's talk about a fun thing. So, just before stream started, looking at Instagram as I almost always do. That looks like a bum. Go with that. Flipping through Instagram, and CTK, who's probably at work right now, I imagine, posted a video about karma. And man, oh man, was it fantastic. This group of boaters, this group of gay boaters, had their pride flag on their boat, and they're just out on the lake or wherever, enjoying life. And maybe it was from today. It was like the first day of Pride Month, and just like, yay, Pride. And this other boat was like, we hate you, so we're gonna whip around you in circles, giving you the finger and shouting at you, hate crimedly. And while doing that, their engine like burst into flames, and they jumped out of their boat and were like swimming around waiting for somebody to like save them. And yeah, karma is magical. Karma is magical, and it was pretty hilarious. I mean, I try my best not to wish horrible things on people. I mean, of course, there's times when somebody's just like, hey, I'm just gonna pull up next to you on a motorcycle and I'm just gonna rev my engine super loud, specifically to startle you, quiet guy on the street. And I'm just like, oh, I kind of wish your motorcycle would burst into flames right now. But then I immediately feel bad about that because I don't want you to burn to death. I just want you to be a better person. Um, Same with, again, just to go back to the residential schools, the people that are posting, like, find these people, torture them, beat them, do horrific things to them. It's just like, and I started to, and I was like, nope, no, no. One, save it for the stream, and two, I just I don't wanna cause Facebook trouble anymore. I haven't done it for a long, long time, and I always feel bad about it. I always regret it very quickly. So I try not to, but I really want to just be like, hey, guys, like, the old saying goes, like, an eye for an eye, everyone's blind, like, sinking to the level of horrible people who committed atrocities, then you are now a horrible person committing atrocities. Then the children of the people who watch you commit those atrocities, they grow up and they want to get their revenge on you, and that just keeps going. That just keeps going. It's let's call it the Boba Fett syndrome, right? Boba Fett watches his dad's head get cut off, so he goes out and starts being a little Django Fett and being a bad guy when, I'm sure he didn't know any better if Django had kept his life secret and Boba just grew up thinking, hey, my dad's just like a guy who goes off on adventures. He wouldn't know that those adventures were assassinations. Um, to take something super serious and then just start talking about Star Wars. That's responsible and adult. He said in a room full of imaginary cats. Let's have an adult conversation. Don't. Um, the other thing that's a little bit nuts and a little. I want to say a little less horrific. I think it is, but this is my dumb white perspective. I think, but every once in a while, since my phone updated last, now I need to put whatever it is, six numbers in for my passcode to open my phone instead of four, which was great before because it was like and my phone is and I'm in, no big deal. And now it's like, oh, and I just keep tapping it until the phone is open, which means wherever I'm tapping, that app is opening as soon as the thing does unlock. And 90% of the time it is Twitter, and I'm like, well, it's open. Let's see what's new on Twitter, because it's usually the newest, craziest things in the just whatever is curated for me for trending, I guess. So this morning, Ellie Kemper was trending. Kimmy Schmidt, the titular Kimmy Schmidt from the whatever the Wacky Adventures of Kimmy Schmidt, and I can't remember her name from The Office now. Ollie was girlfriend. Anyway, the secretary that replaced um Pam, and she's great. Like, I think she's fantastic. I thought she was super hilarious. Uh, but yeah, she was just trending, and I'm just like, I don't know what this is about. Let's see. Click. Hopefully she's not dead. And at first I was just like, it shows a picture of her as a kid, and it says she's 19. And it's just like, yeah, she's 19. She should have known better. Like 19, 20 some years ago. Like, it also turns out I'm the same age as Ellie Kemper. So I'm like, all right, I can relate to this timeline. But she lived, you know, in a town that, as near as I could tell, was probably just predominantly rich white people that was founded on Ku Klux Klaniness and racism, which a lot of places are. Uh, so many, I mean, especially American stories of people growing up where they were just like, this is just, that's just what the option was. Like, if you wanted to, and I definitely know other stories like across that I can't think of any specifics, but those things that are like, oh, well, I always wanted to, like, oh, do some art. So the only way to get into the art program was to do it through this church program. And this church program was, also just very, like, anti everything, let's say. It's just like, oh, this like poor like gay kid growing up, and like in order to go to an art class, they're also during art class being told that, by the way, don't forget, being gay is purely wrong, and you will go to hell, and you will die, and you upset everything in the whole balance of the universe and your family. But anyway, now let's draw some bunnies. So there's a lot of people that had to deal with uh that's not, didn't need quotes. They had to deal with the circumstances surrounding them. And there are, like, no offense to the town that Space Goonie and Pat still live in, but that one is very much reminds me of a place that should have changed a million years ago. But when I lived there, there was so many things that were just like, those guys are really talking as if the people that they have a problem with are extinct, but they're not, and this is insane. Like, this is the future. This is the future. People have like weird water-based jetpacks and actual jetpacks now. Once you start reaching jetpack and printable stuff, like, that's almost Star Trek times, and that's definitely when it's time to just shove off a lot of these just racial and homophobic misconceptions and just horrific ideals. It's just time to get over that. So anyway, if you don't know, the Ellie Kemper thing was when she was a kid, she was in like one of those pageants that people are in, and if you're in one of those pageants and you like live in the South, odds are it's probably has a heritage created by the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, I remember. So anyway, and then so it's like, oh my god, like, whatever. And really, what happened today, I guess, or yesterday, was somebody rediscovered this. Like, this isn't a secret. It's already on her IMDb. I believe she's already talked about it. People have already talked about it. It wasn't just like, yeah, I did it. I was the queen. I was the queen of the Ku Klux Klan pageant, and I'm proud of that. And then somebody else, I read a post that was like, oh, how convenient. Like, her show is all about like living in this cult and then just leaving the cult and being a better person. Thanks to being a rich white person. Just like, nope. I kind of thought that like the writing of it was based in some part on growing up, especially as a woman, and still trying to like make it in the world. Because in a lot of cases, just growing up and being a woman is very much like being a cult, especially when you're in a highly religious or highly political family slash environment. So you have to, people have for centuries had to play by a certain set of rules until they can get to a certain spot and then be like, all right, now let's get real, right? Because I mean, again, if you look at American politics, especially for the last 4 years, it has been very open about the fact that it's just like, oh, we're just trying to maintain the status quo of we want to keep our beliefs of not letting non-whites in here, and it's just like, oh, cool. So that is what government's been about this whole time, and we keep forgetting that somehow. Um, I mean, somehow we do it so we can make it through the day, because it's hard to make it through the day when you know that, oh, so many of these people are monsters. Oh, I'm so tempted to go to Ted. Say something nice, Ted. Hey guys, sometimes you just gotta, think chill thoughts and do what you can in your community and be nice to people. Being nice is the best medicine, really. Laughter's up there, for sure. But just being nice and polite, helping when you can, and just not being a big old turd is the best way to not be a big old turd, guys. Um, I guess I can't take a poop on that. He's right. He's right. I will agree to agree with Ted for once. See? If these two can get along, then everybody else. Am I right? Oh, God. What are we even doing? What are we even doing? So, again, I don't know enough, but I would like to believe that this information has been available long enough, the Ellie Kemper stuff, that it's, it is about the fact that it was like, yep, I wanted to get into some sort of entertainment. I wanted to do something, and the only thing available was these pageants. Can't 100% remember. I won't give specific details about the group because I don't quite remember. But when I went to college, one of the things they had us do was a debate or a few debates. And I can't remember which side I was on, but it was either it was like this group that helps the community versus this group that helps the community, and debate over like which one's better or something like that. I can't for the life of me remember what the point of it was, but somewhere in there, I did the littlest bit of research, but part of my research was that one of these two community groups was founded nefariously, was definitely like an old KKK runoff type of thing or some sort of something. And I know the only reason I remember this is because after the fact somebody was like, by the way, remember when you were, accusing this organization of having a history steeped in bad ideas? And like, yeah. So the lady who's like, the head of everything here, she's a member of that. She's like a member of that group. I mean, they're not like that anymore, but yeah, they do have a sordid past, but they're all about like just doing good things now. Kind of like the stonecutters and like, hey, we're gonna start helping the community instead of just keeping secrets. Oh, everything's The Simpsons. And I'm just like, all right, cool. So still was just like, to say, how do I keep doing this? But that was like my first big instance of saying something crazy about somebody who is, basically owns me at the time. I do it all the time. Like I said, I probably already did it at the beginning of this stream. Oh, snaps. So yeah, I said that, but I'm just like, well, like one, I already tried to get out of doing debates because I'm just like, I don't talk in front of people. That's not a thing that I can do. That's just, I'm physically and mentally incapable. I will lose my mind. I will just sweat until I'm just a dead puddle of nothingness. I can't do a debate and I can't do speeches. And that teacher convinced me, like, no, you have to and you will, and this is how you get better at it. And then literally starting with that class, it never stopped. Everything has been a debate and a speech since then. Oh man. But yeah, and thankfully she was an awesome enough teacher that I was just like, well, I'm sorry, but it is like I did my research, so as far as I know, it's true. And if she is upset about it, then she should join a different group or start a new group or rename the group and make it a new thing. Because I kind of didn't even know what it was until yesterday when I looked this thing up so I could do this debate and try not to just reference Jurassic Park and Batman for the whole thing. So like that's sadly, that is just the sordid history of the world. There's so many things. So again, I just want to believe at least. Just gonna Mulder poster. For now, that yeah, Ellie Kemper was hopefully just one of those where it's just like this was the only place. Really like fried chicken, and Chick-fil-A is the only place that sells fried chicken in my community. And so what am I gonna do? Like I've got my rainbow shirt and my rainbow flag, and I really want some fried chicken. Like I know that it's just the only place I gotta do is if I ever make my own. So there's definitely lots of those places. I believe Chick-fil-A is the one that's anti stuff. I don't do a lot of research. Don't do a lot of research. Well, not to other people's homophobias, at least. Like, cool. Cool, cool, cool. File takes a long time to save. Did I make any notes? Did I write down anything not horrific? As I've like I've just been working day and night since last week. Soldering a robot pen. Demanding more torture. Not make fill the holes. Soul. Um. Hmm. Hmm. All right, I talked real fast, real hard to get that stuff out of the way, and then I ran out of things to talk about. I haven't really watched anything like even remotely new in the longest time. I'm watching old stuff, so it's not distracting, whilst trying to get some work done. Cool. I think it was just in the summer I rewatched The New Girl. That show's it's a good rewatch. Keep forgetting how awesome everybody in that is. Happy Endings was a good one too. I can't remember if that's Netflix or Amazon. I think it's Amazon. Other than the fact that it's out of order when they released it, but also just jam packed with people who are super funny. Oh, I should have wrote it down. I definitely heard some weird facts that I'm like, I should talk about those, but write them down. Didn't write them down. And everything's been on lockdown, so that's what he needs. Sideburn. There we go. Oh, here's something nutty that I never noticed for a long time, or it's super new. But all the trees very recently just suddenly poof, came into bloom with all of their leaves and whatnot. So back to not really being able to just see into everybody's yards super easy, and that's great. But just as everything was starting to grow back, I realized that just across the street next door, dude's got a hot tub on his step. Now, like the hedges are all grown in, so it's like either it's new or I just never noticed it before because of all the hedges. All right, so this is like you know week 2 or 2.5 into the latest lockdown, and I forget why. Oh, yes. So I heard some sort of noise, and I'm like, I gotta look outside. I heard like some kind of yelling. And it was the lady who lives next door who's always yelling. So she's like walking her dog up the street, and she stopped and she's like yelling over towards this guy's yard, and he's in his hot tub, and I'm just like, oh my god, like there's a guy in a hot tub, like the leaves still haven't even finished blooming, and is it warm enough for hot tubbing? And I don't know, I'm not a hot tub connoisseur, so probably it was just right for hot tubbing. You go out when it's cold, I guess. I don't know. People do it in the winter. Everybody's nuts. So she like, she's like talking to him from the street, and then she walks over to the hot tub, and this is during lockdown, during COVID times, and I can see her like, she puts her hands in the water, like, oh yeah, like hey, it's nice hot water, it's a hot tub, like yeah, yeah, everybody knows. You don't need to check it out. But I could see her put her hands in, and then, mm, let me rub that hot tub water all over my face. Hey, you're just sitting here. You're just sitting here in this hot water for however long during COVID times. Cool. Let me just rub that on my face. That is way too much like going to someone's hot tub, bathtub, and just being like, hey, cool. Oh, you're getting a bath? Yeah, let me just get a face full. All right, see you later. Yeah, I know it's a pandemic, and I don't really know you. You're just a neighbor, but before I leave, just a few more little splashes of gross hot tub water all up in my face. And I thought about that like all day, all day, all day. And I mean, it's not really even that judgment worthy. It's not really that bad, but it's just the culmination of, we're in pandemic land. I'm half the places have like literally COVID hours written on the door, or lockdown hours, or they're just not open at all. And other people are just like, oh hey, I don't really know you. Uh, All right, see you later. Like that's just people soup. People soup, exactly. Like I feel completely weird in a hot tub with people I know. Let alone like the very rare times it's at a hotel, no less, where it's just like, this is the worst idea ever. And then some creeps get in like, yeah, we're also in this hot tub, like, oh my, is that the time? What time is it? Who even knows? We gotta get out of here. Everybody, it's just, I gotta go. And then just hot people soup. Cause you know that people don't wipe that well when they poop. So you're probably gonna get some fecal matter floating around in that people soup batter. And it's gross. And it's gross. And it's gross. And it's gross. It's gross. I how to draw hands anymore. Way. There we go. And nobody has yelled anything at me. I wasn't even on the right camera. Nobody's yelled anything at me in the street for a while, which is great. So today, my phone rings, and I can't remember why. but it wasn't a number I recognized. But it was like, well, I used to live here, so this might be, maybe it's Space Goonie. I don't know. Or you know, banking stuff. Who knows? Like, I guess I should answer this. So I answer it, and it's like a little kid voice, and I can't even remember what they were saying, but it was just like, hey, something, something. But it also kind of sounded like it was maybe a filter voice, like it didn't sound real. But you know, kids don't seem real to me anyway, so who knows? So I just assumed it's one of those like trying to call a lane, like this isn't your nana. I think you have the wrong number. So I'm just like, I think you have a wrong number. Um, and normally when that happens, people, even kids, are like, "Oh, sorry," but they just kept kind of making some weird like, "Hey, hey, but hey, but hello." I'm just like, "Oh God, I guess I'll just hang up on this kid." Um, and then I could hear another kid in the background, like what sounded like a little boy, and I'm not sure what it was. Uh, So part of me would just instantly thought like that it was like Space Goonies sisters' kids and their dad like just funning with me. I'm like, I don't know if they know my phone number. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for them to find. Uh, but when I did live there, you know, like once twice a week, I would get a called to the house that was just like this old lady, just like, hey, I'm at the drugstore, pick me up now, like I'm not. This isn't the taxi. Like, pick me up. I don't know who you are. I don't like call a taxi. This is just somebody's house. Like, I'm ready to get picked up. Like, oh God, should I ask where? It's like I'm not in town. I'm way out in the woods. I'm nowhere near where you are, lady. I don't know why my number keeps coming up as a taxi number, but I don't like it. And other times, you would just leave a message. Like there would just be this long message you would say, like, "Hey, you've reached not a taxi stand. Leave a message for not a taxi. Hi, I need if you could go to the store and pick me up some bread and a 2 liter of Pepsi. It's Margaret. It wasn't Margaret. I can't remember the name, but it's just like it's Margaret. Come on, it's me, Margaret. Pick up those things for me. It's Margaret. Like, and then she would seemingly, kind of be getting upset that nobody, the machine wasn't saying like, "Yep, I'm on my way." It's like it said it was an answering machine. Come on now, all the time, all the time. So yeah, I thought it was just little kids making a wrong number, and then I thought, oh, this has to be a prank call. I couldn't quite make it out, but I think that what the little boy yelled in the from the background was, um, you're you're I don't even know how to word this that makes any sense, I guess, but I'm pretty sure it was something like your penis is a fish or your penis looks like a fish. Maybe it was smells like fish. Maybe it was not. Maybe it was something else. But I'm pretty sure the word fish was in there, and I'm pretty sure the word penis was in there. But when that kid yelled that, the other kid hung up, and I'm just like, what just happened? So I, of course, immediately took the phone number, threw it in the internet. Tell me who this was, internet, and it didn't have a thing. Nothing came up, so I'm just like, ugh, I don't care. Um, Other than I thought for a good minute, of sending the phone number to Space Goonie and her sister and being like, "Hey, is this anybody in your family? Phone number?" But it was probably just little kids and a phone. That fish looks scared to be a penis. What else has been going on? Oh, you did. It was. That sounds like Space Goonie. The ramblings of the ramblings of someone who did do it. Yeah, sounds pretty guilty to me. It wasn't me or my family. That's an awful lot of people to cover to say like it definitely wasn't them. We're all good people. We're all the best people over here. Actually, we're the greatest people, and we're making people greater. So obviously, it was definitely one of Space Goonie's nieces and nephews. That's the thing. That's the thing. Nieces and nephews, I would think it was the other sister who doesn't live in Miramichi, and the number wouldn't come up as they would. So it's unlikely. It's just unlikely. Um, but blame is the cure. I can't remember any of the other words to that song, and it's also sung in a way that I can't possibly replicate. Blame is the cure, cure. Nope, been too long since I listened to that song. Not in there. But I did int feel like making supper today. I was like, all right, somebody else make me some food. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna do a few film things before I start the stream, and went out into the world, got a pita. Which reminds me, I also got a smoothie, and I'm crazy thirsty. I say smoothie, but it's more like a juicy, because I don't put dairy products in my juices. Or in anything, really. Except for pizzas. Sometimes. Sometimes I'll get fake cheese to make tacos with. Sometimes I get real cheese. And then I just deal with those farts later. And by deal with, I of course mean regret while I contemplate crying on the toilet. Oh man, oh progress bar. Um, but I can't for a million years remember why I started talking about leaving the house and getting a pita. I went out and I saw. Oh, that's what it was. Music. That's why that other song was in my head because some awesome song was on the radio, like the end of a song where I'm like, oh my god, I love this song. I gotta put this on my Spotify. I forgot this song even exists. This is one of my favorite songs for sure. This song is great. Hey, pop quiz, hotshot. What was that song? I don't know. I don't for a million years know. Because the next song after that was "If You Could Read My Mind, Love." What a tale my thoughts would tell, just like a paperback novel that you find in a wishing well. That's not the how it goes. But the hero would be you. Heroes often do. I don't care if I something else, 'cause something else is over there. You know, hey. Um, that song came on, and Why did you get angry about that thong? What could possibly make you angry about that thong? It's a fun thong. It's been redone by lots of people. I think it was like the theme song to a movie at some point. I think so. I think so. I never loved that song. I think I talked about it before because I think this is the song. Because one of the versions of that song, there's like this weird high pitched ding 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 ding. Uh, uh, um, just this weird probing pinging sound that sometimes I just feel like I don't even notice. It's on the radio a lot more than I think, I guess. And and it just like it gets into my head to a point where I usually just have to turn that song down or off when it comes on the radio. And I don't remember noticing it this time, so maybe it was a different version. But yeah, I just remember just like, this hurts. But that's not why I'm upset about it. Came on, nothing bad, and it was great. But when it was over, the radio man, there's different people that work on the radio here, as every radio station. But this one radio guy, he genuinely makes me want to just like get his name and then just do a weekly YouTube video that's just about, hey, let's call him Reggie, because it's probably not his name. Hey, Reggie from the radio, Radio Reggie. Here's what he said that I think is stupid this week, or here's how he delivered something with such lackadaisical, lack of intent, no energy, disdain for his whole job and the art of radio. This is why I hate him this week. I don't go out in my car often. I don't listen to the radio very often at all. But there are certain times when it's either like, all right, morning crew, you guys still don't think you're great. But I am mostly just jealous that you are just having fun in the morning on the radio. Good job, keep going. You're not super clever, but you're there and you're having fun. I can't fault anybody for that. But the other guy, Radio Reggie, he makes me insane. Because so often it is just like, hey, I went to the old Google AOL search of wacky news of the day. Let me tell you about this wacky news. I'm giving it too much life. It's more like, so this is wacky news. Some wacky news as headline here is you know the old thing when you were a kid when you wanted grilled cheese sandwiches, and your mom was like, yeah, you only one grilled cheese sandwich because they're hard to make. Well, this particular person made 27 grilled cheese sandwiches and won a local grilled cheese contest, and that's a contest I would like to be there for, because I enjoy, I want a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches, and that's So anyway, let's play some music or whatever. And he just always drifts off as if he's just like, why did I start talking about this? Without, at least when I do it, judge myself, I give myself a, why did I just start talking about that? Or I let this jerk be a jerk about it. Hey, why did you start talking about that? Because today, when that song ended, it's just his delivery. And I'm sure I want to believe he means nothing by it, but like I said, I hate him more and more that I can't get a haircut. But he was just like, I don't think that's a version that, that's what Gordon Lightfoot intended for that song to be, but it's still fine or whatever. And it's just like, what? Now, maybe you're right. I didn't realize that was a Gordon Lightfoot song, and don't care about Gordon Lightfoot. I know a lot of people do, and yet another part of our Canadian heritage, I guess. I think maybe he's not, but he's like an old folk music type guy. That music all sucks. So just like what? So is this version of the song too gay for you and possibly Gordon Lightfoot? Have you been upset all day that Pride Month has begun? Is that's what you're upset about, Mr. Low Energy? And I'm just like, it was just that, and just like, but then he just kind of, it felt backtracky, where he was like, it was like it's like disco. It's like a disco version or something, you know. Well, you're the one who played it. Pretty sure you're in somewhat control of what gets played in the rotation, and you picked it. So why didn't you play the Gordon Lightfoot one then? I mean, I don't know how how powerful the Radio Man is, but either take a better dump on the song after it's done, or just, again, I don't know. There's just something, it just felt homophobic. I don't know. Maybe it's, again, you scroll through the internet for the day and it's just a bunch of homophobia and karma and racism just swirling in a big old toilet of sadness. So maybe I was projecting, but like I said, his little asides just always make me think, I don't want to go sit at the radio station for 4 hours, but give me your job just so that you're not doing it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's gonna be mostly like this. Odds are, you know, um, I wouldn't be alone. You mean I would be there? Like, without having to press a button, you could just be like, hey guys, it's Milo and Curtis. We're on the radio now. You can also find us at MrCartoons.com, but I'm not supposed to advertise this right now. Next up, we got some hits of the 80s, 90s, and today, but mostly the 90s, because that's what I like and that's what I play. So here we go with Ace of Base and All That She Wants. And then we would play Ace of Base, All That She Wants, because I mean, I'm going to say Ace of Base had two great songs. Oh, man. Poor Ace of Base. Now I'm actively trying to remember what that other song was. Just, there's no way. There's no way to guess. No way to. I mean, possibly. A Mr. Dress Up record? What would be on a Mr. Dress Up? He didn't sing that much. Mostly just be nursery rhymes. Would it just be him? Is it just him telling stories? Hey, it's me, Mr. Dress Up. How you doing today, Casey? Now we're drawing something. Listen to the marker squeak. Because it's a beautiful day. A board game on the back. Oh my god. From the day I was born, Mr. Dresser made a record. You know what I'm gonna do? Get crazy. Copy this. It's a Mr. Dresser board game kinda day. Mr. Dress Up's here and he's ready to play. He's got some big old glasses. Creepy puppet too. He's gonna put on a costume that's subpar at best for you. 'Cause he's kind of like a hobo in his costuming campaign. what else is more enraging? What else? Ooh, did I watch it? I watched a movie trailer. What did I watch a movie trailer for? What is this? Oh, that's what we can get upset about. Is it M. Night Shyamalan? Yeah, I can say his name now. M. Night Shyamalan. Did that guy make another movie? Because it's super fun to get upset about M. Night Shyamalan movies. Let's do that. M. Night Shyamalan. Come along and sing along. He's got a little dances for you. Cause it's M. Night Shyamalan. All the kids can sham along. Lamb chops and horses too. Is that the Lamb Chops play along theme song? I don't know. It's a theme song of something. But yeah, I think it's called. Is it called Older? Is it called Old? I think it's called Old. I was like, is this movie called Old Trailer? I think this movie is called Old Trailer. What's going on? But it seems to be, the whole movie seems to be right there in the trailer, and there's just no way. There's just no way. Good enough. But once again, I'm just fully jealous, fully jealous that I'm like, I gotta just make a dumb movie. Once I'm done with this, I gotta make some kind of just dumb movie that I think is fun to make. Cause M. Night Shyamalan keeps getting money to make movies, and I kind of want to see it, but it's also just like, you don't need to be Marvel. You don't need to be a big crazy thing. This is just a movie where people end up going to some mysterious beach, and then everybody who goes to that beach rapidly ages and dies. And I'm gonna guess that's the whole movie. And somebody, possibly the youngest kid, probably tries to escape before they die. I don't know, but like I said, most of it seems to be in the trailer. Since it is an M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know how in depth it will get, because that's not really his thing a lot of times. It's like, hey, this is mysterious. What? It is. Anyway, it's over now. Quite a twist, huh? Turns out it was a different thing. Then, you watched that 2-hour movie that you thought was about something else? It wasn't. Well, this is unwatchable for a second time. Enjoy your life. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making a story, a movie, a thing that is just like, even with like comic strips, it's like, you read that more than once? Why? Like, there's not a whole lot there. You got all the information, I think. So, I'm going to do my best. Try and hold the thoughts of this movie in my head and my heart, and come up with something fun to do. Like I said, I already do have a thing written that is lacking in stuff enough that it could count as like this kind of an M. Night Shyamalan type of thing. It's got a bunch of weird twists in it, but they're very just like meta type things. But again, after working on this other film that's only 7 minutes long, I'm like, okay, definitely need to hire somebody to animate this stuff for me, because I'm not going to animate all of this. This is crazy. Even though it is mostly just this, just Milo talking at me, just in different places. And not much to that. But still a lot of work. So anyway, like I said, I'm not like, hey, M. Night Shyamalan, this movie's stupid and I don't want to see it. It looks good. It looks well done. Everybody seems to look pretty believable. I forget what the last one was, where it was just like, oh yeah, Glass and all those things, where it's just like, they're still letting you make movies, huh? Cool. Good for you. Good for you. Was The Happening? That was an M. Night Shyamalan, right? Oh, man. Oh, snap. Um, put some ground in this, I guess, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Anyway, that is that. Clean that up. Add some more. Let's just add some more to this. Let's at least finish off a comic strip from 2 weeks ago. Before I go to sleep. Weird. Okay, now it says everything. It's working. Where's my text that I can copy and paste? Words to this are written on a post-it note somewhere. Oh, there it is. Gotta put up a new little bulletin board. Definitely can't see it from here. So we'll remake them up as I go. How do you spell Jean-Claude Van? Actually, not Jean. John. Jean-Claude Van Damme? To the internet. Dash code. Pretty close. Pretty close already. Lamb chops play along where kids come to play along. Is that in my head? Good night, Space Goonie. Good night. Then we'll draw some squares around there. Let's make this thicker. Oh. That song, it's floating around up there. I can't pull it out. Sometimes you can hear June bugs hitting the window, but there's no need to fear, 'cause Pat's ready to heat them up and eat them up for you. Just give him a call at Pat 101. He'll take care of your June bugs for fun. He'll add some heat so the June bugs he can beat in this summer, dipping them in chocolate as a little treat. Wonder if bugs just aren't as bad around here as they are there. Because I forgot all about the June bugs. I know that last summer there was very much specifically a night or evening. I remember going for a walk, and I definitely talked about it on here, where a June bug was just kind of like just kept helicoptering in front of me, and I'm just like, oh jeez, just don't touch me. Oh my god. Um, no, Daryl. Is there a recipe for eating June bugs floating around Nova Scotia? Because I'm not talking about that. Oh my god, gross. But in defense of that, June bugs are definitely pretty big and meaty. I mean, if you're gonna be cooking up anything, June bugs would be the thing to get, right? But man, oh man. Actually, every year, bugs are just getting crazier. I mean, you can anything. You throw anything in oil and fry it up, like it just becomes basically popcorn chicken. So it makes sense. Like definitely people are doing that. I remember when I was in elementary, no, in high school, junior high. People lost their minds. Like, oh, that guy, he eats squirrels. He eats squirrels. Oh my god, he eats squirrels. Watch out, he'll eat your squirrels. Like, one, nobody around here has squirrels. Like, oh, don't eat my squirrels. Two, that's not that weird. About everybody I know puts out rabbit snares and eats rabbit, and a squirrel isn't that different from that. I don't want to eat rabbit. I don't want to eat squirrel. But he also lived in a place where it was like, yeah, that's just what people do. We eat squirrels all the time. It's not a weird thing. Um, but and a fine spaceship to you, J for Jill Stark. J4 Jill Stark. J4 Jill Stark. Fine spaceship to everyone. Rockets to the moon and whatnot. Um, yeah, the definitely has to be crunchy. Uh, yeah, I guess everything kind of comes across nutty once you fry it up. Um, yeah, I think same thing. Avocado shake was like, I think I could maybe handle like if they were crunchy and fried in oil, smaller bugs. I'm not doing it for the meatiness. But yeah, just the look of a June bug, like I'm out. Like there's just a thousand things about them that are just no, they just I'm just my body's just gonna shut down. The other day, uh, um, there was a bee. There was a bee in the apartment, and I walked out of this door, and just on the curtain in the living room there was just the biggest bee I've ever seen. And every year I think that, but it's just like every year they seem to be getting bigger, and it just seemed like it looked even more like just like a giant hairy wasp. It was just like, oh, you're quite menacing. I don't like you. I don't like you, but I also don't want to just straight up kill you. So let me think about this for a second. How do I get you out of here without accidentally killing you or having to go like, well, try my best, smash. Because he was like trying to find his way back out the window, and I'm like, I just don't see how you're gonna pull that off. So I went to the kitchen, got a pot and a cover, and was like, all right, I'll just come up, put the pot cover, I think, on the other side of the curtain, and the pot itself on this side. And if I could just connect these two, and then I could just slide it off the curtains, and I'll just walk outside with a pot and release a bee into the world and feel good about it. So I went up to the curtain, very nervous, very nervous. Still in my head, just completely reacting based on the last time I tried to take down, dispose of, destroy a wasp nest that was still very small, and it only had a handful of wasps in it at this point, but still it was more than two. So anytime I've ever dealt with a wasp nest, it was at the beginning when there was no more than two, and I could just soak it with wasp spray until the corpses fell out, and then feel bad that, oh, maybe you already started laying eggs. I'm a genocidal monster, and this feels bad. But one time, I was trying to deal with these wasps, and I like just covered myself in all the clothes and everything, but they still just kept stinging my nose, just boo boo boo, one after the other, just kept whipping out and shooting me in the face with their own bodies. So I was just like, this is insane. This is insane. And I don't remember what I did, if I gave up or not. I don't think I did. I think I was like, all right, I already set this up. I put a bucket of soapy water under it, and then I shoveled it down with the shovel, and then I just ran. And I think I just ran, and hopefully got them all. I don't quite remember, but it was everything leading up to that was just like, this is crazy. So that's all I could think about with this one singular bee. But I'm like, I'm not gonna kill it. Like it was just bigger than a June bug. It was so big that I'm like, that's like, I might as well go outside and just smash a person in the side of a head with a pot, because we both have just about the same amount of rights, right, B? Tiny, but I'm terrified of you. I'm terrified you're gonna give me a little sting that's gonna hurt for a little while, versus I'm gonna just destroy you completely. Oh man. So I managed to. I get up close. It was seemed like relatively docile. Like I have some friends that have beehives, and it's just like, well, this is bananas. This is bananas. I don't want to go even anywhere near your house now, because I know as much as you guys are just like, hey, we're just hanging out with the bees and everything's cool. Bees are great. I'm still just like, no, I'm too nervous. I give off too much bee upsetting energy, I'm sure, and they're just gonna try and destroy me. Um, so I did. I managed to get the pot up, and I'm like, all right, got the cover on there and tried to slide it down. But like, even though they're very thin, just sheer curtains inside of the main curtains, I still just couldn't quite slide him down. So I was like trying to slide him down. Next thing I know, he's like outside of it again. I'm like, how's he doing this? Like, wrap it around him again, slide it down. And by like the third time, he's just kind of starting to look a little roughed up. Where I'm like, oh god, well he's not, or she, they are not surviving this. And uh, I tried. I'm gonna go get something else, and I'm just gonna crush this bee. Because at this point, the bee is just like, it went from quiet to just like, like, oh god, like he's going to kill me. And this is the siren to not only like, if I die, everyone's gonna come in here and we're gonna pick your corpse clean while you sleep. So I'm just like, I gotta close the window. I gotta do something. So I went and got a IKEA catalog, which isn't really an IKEA catalog, from way back in my Instagram feed. That's at Mr. Cartoons on Instagram for all your updating needs. I would erase, color over, and I was drawing dinosaur heads on people's heads throughout this IKEA catalog that showed up at the apartment one day. So I grabbed that from the shelf and was like, well, sorry, B, you're dead now. I'm just gonna smash you to pieces, even though it's probably gonna take a couple smashings because you're a huge B. And he was just kind of like still buzzing, and I'm like, all right, let's wait for him to calm down. Let's wait till he's not angry, and then destroy him. So he's kind of like still inside the curtains, just in areas where I'm like, I can't. There's no way for me to hit him there, without it backfiring and just becoming awful. And then this poor little bee managed to, I don't know where he went, but like disappeared into the curtains or just somewhere within, like, it's an old timey building with old timey windows. So there's like a bunch of weird slats and stuff. So I'm like, it must be in behind one of the slats. I don't want to throw open the curtains and let it just like go floating around the apartment now. So I'm like, well, I'll wait till I can see it again and then I'll smash it. And then some time passed. Excuse me. You're excused. And I assume, I assume it's gone. And it did find its way back out the window. Because at that point it was traveling around inside the window, or inside the curtain instead of being stuck on the other side. So I'm like, well, it's feasible that it could have escaped based on where it was now. So I'll just have to be happy that it got out. I wasn't just like, oh, I didn't get it. I was like, oh, good, good. I hope it escaped. Um, that's what I wanted, was to get it outside. But I'm like, it's a bee. It's a bee. It's furry and it's just big. And I shouldn't be afraid of it, but I just am. I'm just M Night Shyamalan bees. that's pretty much the extent of my adventure for the week. Trying to rewind through, and I've just mostly been sitting either in this chair or in that chair, working on animation for either one group or another. I'm just getting real excited because I got a bunch of stop motion things that I just want to throw together and do, but I just can't allow myself to do it until I finish this other thing. And yeah, tomorrow night, as soon as work is done, I just throw some textures in, change one other thing, I think, and then just send it off and be like, huh? What do you think? Is it done? I think it's done. Put some music in it and be done with it. And, yeah. I'll look around and see if anything triggers any memories of the week, but, yeah, I think it's just mostly been drawing stuff. Haven't really been paying attention to anything. I got nothing. And yet you still somehow managed to spend 2 hours with nothing to say. That's magical. Well, guys, the world is just magic, and our brains are magic, and everything is just kind of magic, inspirational. It's cool just to talk about things, like surfing, for example. Have I talked about surfing and waxing up boards in a while? Maybe we could perform some sort of heist, help either catch or become great bank robbers that also do some surfing in the sky. You guys ever sky surfed? Not now, Ted. It's late. So yeah, that's been another Tuesday. We'll do it again next Tuesday, and I don't know. I'll try to go for some walks, have some interactions in the world, see if anybody's gonna yell at me or just do weird things as I walk by. Oh, there was one day where I was in like the town square thing. It's like a little park area, and this dude just got up and he had like a big walking stick cane, and he was fully like going Steven Tyler Aerosmithing with this cane, and just like, and I mean, I'm one that I'll still just kind of like do some lip syncing and, you know, danciness as I go down the street as well. So it's like, I'm definitely not judging, but he was going full bore where it was just like, you know somebody's watching you because you can see me. I'm right here. But he was like, you know, perpendicular to me. I think that's yeah, parallel, perpendicular. So he's going the opposite direction from when I watch. And yeah, he was just fully like, yeah, what? Doing like kind of like kicking it away and bringing it back in not an impressive way, but it was still fun for me to watch. I thought about maybe at least trying to take a little video just to send to people, not to post everywhere and be like, hey, look at this guy. I was just like, hey, look at this guy, to like a select 2 or 3 people. But then he was already gone. He was on his way, but he was going for it, and it was great. I don't know, something that can inspire you to just keep being silly and having fun, because you know, there's usually isn't consequences for enjoying yourself and doing good things. But yeah, as per usual, don't stab anybody when you're out in the world. Don't commit any hate crimes for sure. And if you don't know what those are, look them up and then don't do them. Real easy. People are up in arms about stuff in your family and friends list on your internets. Don't be that thing. Don't be, you know, just don't be that person that's like, actually you'll find that no. Don't. Just don't. Do good things, and good things happen. My name is Earl. But anyway, I'm Mr. Cartoons. Thanks as per usual. Like I said, always follow the Instagram. There's a Twitter of the same name. YouTube's got a weird name for it still, because I still have less than 50 followers and I need 100. Or subscribers, I should say, which is free. But yeah, all those links are in the Willow links on my Instagram and Twitter, or just go to mrcartoons.com. And I'll talk at you guys again next Tuesday. I will also be talking at everyone next Tuesday. I will probably have a new theme song that I will make up on the spot, because that's what I do. My name is not Scott. That's not a good rhyme, but it's all that I got. And hold on to what you got, because you don't know what you got till it's gone, because sometimes they pave paradise and they put up what? A parking lot. Shooby-dooby-doo, wop 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 wop. Shooby-doo, la la la. And, you know, they paved all the trees, and then they put them in a tree museum. And they charged the people $1.50 just to see them. I mean, uh-oh, there's the police. That's probably the thong police. Oh God, I can't believe. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to sing that song. I'm so sorry. Well, I guess I gotta go hide under some blankets until this blows over. Good idea. Stay under there all week long. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Since yesterday, sirens have been going constantly. I mean, it's the end of the month, and a lot of times there's that whole, hey, we got to do some end of the month quota filling. So maybe it was just that. But yeah, it seems like since sometime yesterday until mid-afternoon today, just constant sirens. I don't know. I live fairly downtown. But a bye, not Scott, to us all. And rocket ships and whatever I said earlier to that rocket ship comment. Ripley. Get me out of here.